this was a mandatory all-hands meeting that we need to hold. This isn't to be negative. This is just to provide AtGames with some constructive criticism. And the reason why is because, you know, I got to see this system at E3. Chris and I have talked about it. And, you know, I'm kind of excited for this system. And then the games list got released, and maybe my excitement drew down a little bit more. And then some of the details around subscription services and things like that came out, and my excitement level went down even more. So I view this as our Sonic the Hedgehog movie. We have a chance to make a change and give them feedback that they may use to enhance and correct some of these things that we're kind of upset about. And it's a little unanimous because I got millions of messages today, not millions, but a lot of messages today about it. So that's what Chris and I want to talk about. And then I also want to have the chat up so we can see what you guys are saying, because that feedback is they're gonna see this video, and we're gonna send it to them, and hopefully they make some changes. So let's see how many people we have in this feed now, because we had a lot and they all kind of... Oh, we have 50 people watching. Perfect. All right, guys. So let's get right into it. So you guys in the chat, definitely keep the chat coming, because I'll be looking at it from time to time. But Chris and I are going to go a little freeform here and talk about some of the things. I'm not telling you guys what I did and why it didn't work. But we're back now, okay? That's all that matters. And I'm sorry. It was dumb. Anyways, all right. We're going to kill the music. All right, Chris. So... what is going on?
Okay, so I think the first thing we should probably do is just kind of assess the situation.
Yeah, let's assess it. Let's go high level real quick.
All right, so what we know so far is that there's 350 games, right?
Okay, yep, I got you. I'm following.
And they've got the ArcadeNet? Is that what they call that?
Yep, we got ArcadeNet.
Connectivity.
Now, ArcadeNet, we'll break this down. So you said the 350 games, those are pre-installed, right? And that's with the purchase of your cabinet. And the cabinet costs, according to IGN, and if you guys have heard anything different, put it in the chat. The full-size cabinet is $599.99, so $600. And the 3/4 scale, which I didn't actually think had a release date or even was official, but it is on the IGN article, is $399.99. So that's the 350 games, and that's the cost you're paying for it. So that's basic, and now we know, let's actually, before we get to ArcadeNet, Chris, let's just talk about the 350 games, because that's what they're getting for the money they spend.
So the 350 games, the games list is out there. If you're part of the Facebook group, you've seen it. It's probably one of the reasons maybe why you guys are here, is to hear all this stuff. Most of the games list comprises of, I would say, a majority of console games. And by console, I mean things like Atari, some Genesis. I actually saw a couple Super Nintendo games in there. And then you've got a lot of arcade games, but there's 350 of them, and it's extremely overwhelming and kind of underwhelming when you start to see it.
And Chris, I have the games list up right now, and I know you have it in front of you, but I'm just scrolling through it so the people that are online can see it.
Yeah. There's just seeing some of the games that they chose to be on here, it feels like a gigantic Atari flashback in this. I think it's a little unfortunate, I would say in some circumstance, because it's just, I don't think people want to buy an arcade machine to play Atari games, or console games for that matter.
I couldn't agree more. And the console thing is a little bit of the thing that kind of like, it kind of ruffles my feathers a bit, only because they already released so many systems that were based on consoles, right? They have all these flashback systems. So it seems to me, and this is just some feedback, it seems a little lazy to include so many of those when really the main purpose, and this is just constructive feedback, the main purpose to me, and you guys in the chat tell me, is arcade games. That's what I'm buying an arcade cabinet for. Console games sometimes don't translate to an arcade cabinet.
They don't. And then for instance, number 30 on the list is basic math, fun with numbers.
Oh, come on. You're going to play basic math a ton. Don't even go there. That's
low
hanging fruit, bud.
I just sold a Donkey Kong Junior Math this week on Monday. I sold it for, I think it was like $90, I think. So, no, I hear you on that. And then
he's playing fun with numbers right now. Don't let him fool you.
Yeah, absolutely. 3D tic-tac-toe. Let's see, there was another one that I saw in here. Alphabet Zoo.
I'm looking through the list at the same time.
I don't understand.
But don't you think, Chris, this is all fixable though, right? I mean, to me, this system is not out yet.
Nope.
They do have 350.
Hmm.
I'll go even rewind a little further than we're even going right now. 350 is a lot of games to go through, as you already mentioned. So like you could
Yeah.
probably axe like a lot of these console games, and even
Mhm.
then have a better base list than
Oh,
it is right
absolutely.
now.
I'm not gonna lie. I got to the letter D in the list, and I was zoning out because there was nothing that was catching my attention with like the games list. I was just wasn't like I had to stop and go back and go, oh, you know what? I'm not even paying attention to what I'm reading anymore, just because there's so many. And I think we were talking to RGT85 in a group that we follow, and he made mention that the reason why he doesn't mod his arcade one-ups because he doesn't want that overwhelming feeling of having thousands of games to choose from or hundreds of games to choose from. He just wants the very specific games. And I think maybe that's where this is kind of losing a lot of us, especially when they're not arcade games themselves.
Yeah,
I just think that the focus is just a little off on this. But you know what? Like I said, we could pick and poke and prod at this all day long, and make negative comments. But I think again, the better thing to do, positive wise, is to look at this and say, how could they make this better? Because if AtGames is watching, if anybody from AtGames is watching, we're definitely not trying to make this stream about bashing your product or bashing the things that you do. There are ways to fix this, and there are ways to make it better. You and I were talking with just starting with the games.
yeah. We're
Um,
not even at
how about
arcade yet, or
how about instead of 350 games, you put 35 games on there. Do a tenth of the games. We don't need like people don't need 300 some games, or even if they do want that many games, that's how you can market this for like the ArcadeNet, which we'll get into later. Like you can sell packs of games for specific genres or specific maybe companies or things like that. Like, oh, we've got a Data East collection, we've got a Shmups collection, we've got a Beat 'em Up collection, we've
exactly.
got a Capcom collection,
Yep.
something like that, and market it that way. And I think that would be much more appealing because then you get to tailor basically kind of what we do with the arcade one-ups right now. We mod them, we put what we want on there.
Yep.
So imagine being able to put what you want on there to make that your own.
Well, and
Like
Chris, to your
get that
point,
with this.
about the so this is where I was going before. So when I was at E3 and got a chance to put my hands on this, and I know at the time it was alpha, so maybe some of the information they were giving us wasn't what was actually going to be released or announced. And he
Right.
said he had this idea that this was the concept. If you didn't like the 350, you could join ArcadeNet and or some other service and a la carte the games. Now he didn't have the details then. He didn't have a subscription fee then. But I was like, oh well, that's kind of cool. If I can pay for the unit itself, which I'm okay with, and then I can pick and choose games that might have they might have discounted games or games that are $5. Like I might be okay with that because then I'm kind of customizing the arcade to the games I want. But that's
Sure.
not how this has ended up being, and with the biggest disappointment, and I want to start with ArcadeNet, but the biggest disappointment for me was this idea that I thought bring your own games was going to be, all right, I have Steam, I connect to Steam through this with I can't remember the name of the Steam app. I have it, but I can't remember it. Give me the
Steam Link.
Yeah, Steam Link. I'm effectively connecting with Steam Link, which I may already pay for, and so I'm just playing my Steam games, which I was kind of excited about that. But then that quickly kind of changed into now I've got to sort of pay money to do that on top of if I already have a Steam Link. So this is where it's kind of
Yeah.
like starting to fall apart for me. Because honestly, I'm sitting there and if anybody has seen the video from E3, I'm sitting there playing Street Fighter 4 with him thinking, oh, well, if I already purchased Street Fighter 4, then I'm just using the licenses I already have for that game. And that's not
Mm.
really the case. So we'll go back to, let's start with ArcadeNet, because I think we all agree the 350 games, there's way too many console games. And I don't
Mhm.
think they're going to be able to like relicense things. But before we do that, Chris, I'm going to go through the chat and I'll just kind of give you an idea of what people are saying.
Okay.
I'll pick out a couple things. All right, someone agrees with you, says just put arcade games. That was Ravenwood. Richard Cook says offer an option for just arcade games, so he's on board with you there.
Yep.
Someone says they're disappointed because there's no Police Quest. And someone says better have Leisure Suit Larry. I'm not sure that translates to arcade controls. That's definitely more of a mouse point and click kind of game, but hey. Wait, wasn't Leisure Suit Larry on a console? What console was Leisure Suit Larry on? It was ported to a console, or am I thinking, or am I not right on that? I don't know.
I'm not
Anyways,
sure.
so I got underwhelming and then the comments before when the stream was broken were all pretty much bashing on me. I'm pretty sure, like they were asking me if I paid my internet, if I didn't pay my internet subscription, and then so it says, did you not pay your $20 subscription, or is your 10 hours up? Okay, which is
That's
fun.
funny.
Which that's actually funny. And then the other one was, this video is brought to you by AtGames. That $20 isn't looking so bad now, is it? Wow, that was Got Your Own channel. So thank you, thank you. All right, but it sounds like, let me see what more recent comments real quick. We only want arcade games, so everyone's pretty much the we want arcade games is pretty much. Guys, let us know in the chat if arcade games is where you think it's at, because I think that's the miss, is the console games don't translate very well.
Yeah, I think an echo now. Weird. I'm gonna mute myself when I talk.
Okay, I don't have an echo.
So I think one of the things is that I think that what they need to do is, if they're trying to be competitive, especially in the price, I think the $400 for the smaller version and is too. It's like they need to hit a sweet spot, and I think $600 is too much, because I can't imagine paying $600 for an Atari flashback. I just think that's not good.
Yeah, and I am wondering,
I
like,
think
it
that,
has an odd.
You should probably focus on being competitive with Arcade 1-Up as far as the games go. Do you agree?
Yeah, are you muted now? Because it was echoing. Okay. I do agree, and it's weird. It is very weird. You guys in the chat definitely tell me what you guys think. There's this like crazy bias for Atari games on here, and I'm not saying that. I was talking to Chris about this. I'm not saying that I don't like those games, and I could be wrong, and maybe you guys will bash me for this, because this is just my opinion, really. I think that the target audience for this product is probably the person that's in their 30s to like mid 40s, and those people maybe don't have the nostalgia for some of these older Atari games. So I think by going so heavy on the Atari, you kind of like, and I'm not saying that you alienate, I think, a big group of the audience, but you can make both groups happy. But I don't think you need to be this heavy on the Atari stuff. Like, get the classics, the ones that people just love to play, but I just think it's too heavy on Atari. And I don't know where that influence comes from, and the only thing I can think of is it's from the products they've released prior. That's the only thing I can think of.
I think what they should do is they should focus on like the games that Arcade 1-Up hasn't released. If they can find a way to get.
I just had someone in there, Ravenwood, said 50 years old and don't want Atari anymore. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thanks, Ravenwood.
I think if you were to get something like Qbert, Mappy, Tetris, Double Dragon, if they could land Nintendo, oh my gosh, this thing would sell like hotcakes. But just Captain America and the Avengers, things that aren't showing up in Arcade 1-Ups. If they can focus on those type of games, I think that would make them competitive in that realm. I think that would be really cool. Man, if they could land Nintendo.
You got a comment of Nintendo will never happen. I agree, but it would be pretty
cool. No, I agree. I don't think it'll ever happen either. But I'm just saying, if they had, I mean, would that sway you to paying more for a cabinet?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know.
Let's move on to, because I think we've killed the games. I think we all think that the games should be. I think we all think the games should be more arcade focused, and there's probably some other arcade games they could weave in there. Now, let's talk about ArcadeNet, because ArcadeNet's going to cost you $20 a month. So my biggest beef with ArcadeNet right now is I don't know what ArcadeNet has to offer. Right. So if you're going to tell me I can pay $20 a month, that may be okay with me. But when it says, I'm reading, by the way, from their sheet here. It says, you can access our ever-growing library of additional games. Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the stream, keep me honest, I have not seen a list of ArcadeNet games. So that's a tough one for me to swallow, too, because if I don't like the 350 games and I don't know what I'm getting for $19.99, this may just be a non-starter right there. I may decide, well, if I don't know what's on ArcadeNet and I don't like the 350 or I'm not that thrilled with it, well, now I'm like maybe not even a buyer of the cabinet anymore.
Right. And I think $20 may be too much. And I think the packs, one I think what they need to do is come down with the price on that. I think $5 a month for net play, I think would be good. Net play, $5 a month. Now, if you wanted to get some of the other things like the leaderboards, like what are some of the other things I said? Cloud game streaming.
So
I'm not sure why internet connectivity is a thing.
Chris, I don't want to. Sorry to interrupt real quick, but someone just put in the chat. Actually, it's Cursed Existence. He said there's no current ArcadeNet games list in publication, so we don't know what's going to be on there. So it's going to be just hope, right? Hope it's good.
Yeah, yeah. But I understand like cloud game streaming, leaderboards. I'm not sure what internet connectivity is. Like, I'm not going to be streaming. I'm not going to be browsing the internet on this thing. Network play, like I said, if it was $5 a month for just network play, being able to play people online, that would be cool. For everything else, like leaderboards, and then they had one, they were talking about tournaments, like the cloud streaming. Okay, $10 a month, I think, but I don't think you should go above that. I mean, you're paying $20 a year for Nintendo's online service. I know Nintendo's online service is, but I'm just saying you're paying $20 a year versus $20 a month for this, and you don't even know what you're getting.
Well,
at this point.
And I question though, like the audience, right? I view this product as this is a product that is probably going to compete with it's competing with Arcade 1-Up in my opinion, because you're not competing with the purist arcade guys, because I feel like at one time I was that guy. You're not competing with him because he doesn't want this at all.
Correct.
So he doesn't want this. The Arcade 1-Up, the person that's buying the Arcade 1-Up, this would appeal to them because they can't keep buying cabinets because they're going to run out of space, and maybe they don't have the ability to mod it, right? So they don't feel comfortable with that. So they want to have a multi-cade type of thing. But if the 350 games are a little underwhelming, they've already paid, and we did get confirmation, Chris, the 3/4 scale cabinet is not confirmed. So really it's just the full size for $600. So you're already paying this person that bought into the Arcade 1-Up idea and is now really hyped up on home arcades is now going to potentially spend double the price of an Arcade 1-Up. So now they're spending $600, right? So they could have effectively bought 2 Arcade 1-Ups at this cost. And
Yep.
and they're underwhelmed with the games list. Well, now they're spending $600 plus potentially another $20 a month for games they don't know what they are. That's a little hard to swallow. And then the bring your own game thing seems a little less appealing now to them because they spent $600. They're not that happy about the $350, and now they got to pay $10 or $1 an hour, or exactly, well, at minimum $10 per month. Or yeah, well, if they want to play for 10 hours, they got to spend $10. So that's on top of the $600 purchase to play things
Right.
that they could play or they are playing somewhere else. So, like, I don't know, man. I want to like this. I really do. I don't want to say negative things, but these are just things that come to mind for me.
Yeah, the streaming thing we haven't even covered yet. We were talking about ArcadeNet, but that's not covering the streaming. The streaming is like $1 a minute.
$1 an hour, yeah.
Oh, that's right, $1 an hour to stream things like Steam and whatnot. And I just, if you play 20 hours, you could have bought a Steam Link.
Yeah,
I'm just,
yeah. Someone
like,
mentioned
not even a day's worth of.
It is good to mention. I see it on the sheet here, and Cursed Existence just came here and said it's a $10 or it's a 10-hour minimum purchase. So you got to purchase 10 hours. Okay, so you have to purchase 10 hours. Is that correct? I think I have this right. At least that's what it says on this sheet. It says the bring your own game is $1 an hour with a minimum 10 hours purchase. So I'm assuming you're buying like a 10-hour block as your first block. So you have to spend $10.
For $600, the streaming thing needs to be free.
I think so too. What do you guys think? If the streaming thing is free, is that good feedback for AtGames? Like, should AtGames consider making that free?
Yeah, because like I said, $20 you can go buy a Steam Link and you can mod it up and do something similar. It's just like I don't.
The feedback's coming in. We got one. I agree. Free question. Free exclamation point. Yes. Thanks. Another one. I agree. Everything should be included in the $20 a month flat rate. That's not bad. Actually, I can get around. I could get behind that, I think. What do you guys think? If it was $20 a month, still a lot though. No, I think $20 is still a lot. Maybe $9.99 a month. $9.99 a month, and you get everything.
I could swallow $10 a month.
Yeah,
I could probably swallow
10. I think 10 is the sweet spot. I think $10 a month. If I have to pay because it's their infrastructure costs, I think $9.99 is okay. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I could see that.
What does
I could
everyone
see
else
that.
think? What does everyone else think on the Oh, I'm getting ripped on for my streaming not being ready, but I honestly, here's the thing, guys. Doesn't actually do the echo until I hit start streaming. So just really quick, I want to address this. So I never had any problems with any live streams until the last two, and what's happening is my preview, as soon as I hit start streaming is when I get the echo. So I actually do test the streams beforehand. I actually have Chris on and I record the streams and then I play it back and it looks good. It's when I hit the start streaming button, I figured out what it was. So just to kind of address that. And then I realized that when I do the replay, I'm going to actually edit it out, which is unfortunate because that's the thing, Chris, I have to figure out is if I edit this stream, all these comments, all these great comments won't be there. So that's the only bad part. So I don't know. That makes me not know what to do with this because I really want the feedback. That's really the important thing is I want AtGames to go and read all the things that you guys are saying because but it seems like unanimous. Everyone's saying $10 seems okay.
Yeah, for all the things we pay for, $10 isn't. I just quit Netflix. Like they could be going to AtGames.
Yeah, everyone's saying leave the echo in. That was a long time to leave the echo in the video, but all right. I'm trying to read some of these comments. AtGames, $10 is the sweet spot. Yeah, everyone's pretty much into the $10 thing. I think that's the way to go. If they could do $10, you can get access to ArcadeNet. Again, that's a risky investment as it is because we don't even know what's on it. I have no idea what's on ArcadeNet, and I don't think ArcadeNet actually exists right now, right?
It could be that the ArcadeNet gives you access to the entire library. You know how I was telling you you could buy packs? Like say you could buy a beat 'em up pack or a shmup pack or a fighting game pack or a daddy's pack. Like the if you could buy them for offline if you wanted to for $5 or $10 maybe, but if you paid for the monthly subscription you could basically get access to all of them. Maybe that's something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, as to
Well,
where you would have to like if you wanted to play them offline you'd have to actually buy them. I think that could be comparable. I think.
Well, I got some feedback, and it's not necessarily confirmed, but as Cursed Existence said, as far as I know, ArcadeNet is not yet functional. So the service, so that's another thing, right? I mean, streaming services being brand new, are there going to be hiccups and issues with that as version 1? Probably, right? I mean, there's a learning curve there. No streaming service usually comes online and is perfect day one, so there could be some issues there. It's technically going live for the first time. So I don't know. There's just a lot of these what if things. And then I guess the biggest, I think the biggest one is just it's the games list. If the games list was spot on and had mostly arcade games, you are getting, I'll tell you guys, my feedback from being in front of the unit, it's a lot taller than than an arcade one-up. It feels more like a legitimate full-size arcade. So, and the other thing too is you don't really have to fully build it. If they implement it the way they showed it to me, it's a bottom half and a top half, and they come in a box together, and you just put the top half on, and I think you attach the PCB, and you screw it down, and that's actually it. So to put it together is more like a 10-minute thing versus a 45-minute to an hour thing. So that is good, right? I mean, it's good that you can put it together easily, and it's taller, so it's more. It has the vibe and feel of a full arcade cabinet. But is it going to be worth $600 to you is really going to be determined on do I like the games and do I have access to games that I'll want to play, and that's the thing.
$600 is really steep.
And you guys have to remember, modding an arcade one-up when it's $299, your end cost is usually like between, I would say, depending on what you use. You could argue that your end cost, you end up putting about $200 in most of the time if you put decent
Minimum.
stuff in. Yeah, so you're at $500. So to mod an arcade one-up to be a multicade, you're at $500. You could go anywhere from $550 to $600 potentially, depending on what you do to it, but about $500. So if you're going to spend $600 on this, this isn't a modder's cabinet. You have to like it as is, because if you're going to put another $200 in, then now you're in a realm of you could go to Game Room Solutions, go to Ryan at Game Room Solutions, get a DIY kit, or go to Dream Arcades or Rec Room Masters and just build your own. If you're going to spend more than $600, build your own. That's my take on that.
That's actually that's pretty good. Yeah, and I think if fixing some of these things that we've talked about, I think also what at Games needs to focus on is like maybe look at people's complaints about Arcade One Up and maybe make sure that they're on top of things like this. Like what people's biggest complaints about Arcade One Up, customer service. Make sure the customer service is on it. Cheap parts from Arcade One Up. Almost every machine I've modded, do away with the joysticks, do away with the buttons, and the monitor is maybe. It's like it depends. So it's kind of one of those things like it seems like the things that they're putting in AtGames seems to be better. At least that's what we've been kind of told or come to believe about
Chris,
it. So hopefully
I will say this. I should mention this as a positive. So when the unit that I played at E3 felt really good. It probably had the equivalent of like a really good Sanwa clone stick and probably a decent Ralph's Pinball 8000. I don't know what they're talking about. A decent button. I mean, it was definitely more like a HAP button with a standard micro switch. It wasn't like a Sanwa button where it's not clicky. It was probably like a HAP button with a standard arcade button with a decent micro switch. It felt good though. It didn't feel. Okay. It felt like good stuff. The trackball felt good, although I didn't play a trackball game, so I can't say whether the trackball was like great or anything. And the spinner is the Glenn Retro Show spinner, and that's been proven. Everyone pretty much that uses that Glenn's Retro Show spinner says it's good. At least I don't know if that's even confirmed that it is his, but I'm pretty sure we've kind of deduced down that it is his based on the fact that he's kind of hinted at it a million times. Posts with arrows go into it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's his. So. They're making fun of my enormous wealth.
One of the big things that Arcade One Up was, or people complain about the Arcade One Ups is that it's small. Like people always talk about how small it is. So I think they've got that at Games. You said that it's taller than so it's got that going for it. So that's really good.
I got a comment that says Glenn spinner or not cannot be confirmed or denied per at Games. Well, we know it is, so we'll just say it is. I'm saying it is. It is.
Confirmed. So anyway, so 2 or 3 games.
I'm not confirming NBA Jam on Arcade One Up though. We've been down that road before, and that just I'm a positive guy. You guys know that. But the everyone confirming NBA Jam when they saw the little sliver in the that just got me all fired up. That triggered me. It triggered happy-go-lucky me, and I was just seriously not happy about it. But anyways. All right, sorry, Chris, I derailed.
That's okay.
I digress.
So a lot of people are complaining that paying $300 for 2 or 3 games on Arcade One Up. So I mean, again, that's what AtGames is trying to fix, right? I just don't think 350 is the right number. Bring it down. I think if you had 30 games on there or something like that, with the ability to add more, I think that would be fine. I think that then it makes people make it their own, like when they can download the packs and the specific games they want. And one thing, Arcade One Up, I don't know if you've noticed now, but all the peripherals for Arcade One Up are expensive. They're expensive. The stools are $80. Like the risers are $40. I mean, it's like like I could see those being cheaper if they could, like $30 or something like that, or but like like I said, the stools I want to get one, but man, $80. It's surely someone can beat that. Something like I said, if they focus on certain things like that, of focusing on like fixing some of the complaints about Arcade One Up, like I said, they have already done some of that. But
Chris, you're getting Chris is getting the Oscars music playoff on the stools. They said enough of the stools. Actually, no. Michael Tidwell said, "Who cares about the stools?"
Nobody does. I'm just saying the peripherals. The extra peripherals are a little pricey. All I think even the system itself is a little pricey. I think for 2 or 3 games, I think $200 or $300. Like people are just waiting for these things to go on sale so they can buy them. Yeah. People don't want to buy them for $300. They'll buy them for $2. They'll buy them for $150.
It's okay, Michael. It's okay, Michael. I'm getting echo on your end now. It's okay, Michael. I love Chris, but I was gonna give him the on the stools too, so it's okay. But all right, we're gonna move.
I don't have other stools.
We're gonna move on. The last topic, and this one I know a lot less about, but it's the HDMI/USB peripherals interface thing. And I'm going to read exactly what it says on here, and then we can kind of, talk through it real quick, and then we'll be done. But
Okay.
it says the HDMI USB connectors on the front left of the control panel, which I did see, by the way, at E3, but they wouldn't really let me play with it, will allow users to connect an existing AtGames device like a Blast and a Boom. Well, we all know that those had a little bit of a... I'm not going to say anything. They were reviewed by several YouTubers who had not so great things to say about them. But I never tested them myself, so I'm not saying anything good or bad. If you guys want to comment in the comment section, you can if you own one. But I do not own one, so I don't feel comfortable commenting on that. So it allows you to use... So basically, if you bought one of those Blast systems that you have the little like HDMI dongle and the controller, you can hook it up there, and it'll play the games. Okay. So that's what that is. It says the consoles play directly on the Legends Ultimate, complete with arcade controls. So you don't need the controller. You plug in your little dongle, and that sounds bad. You plug in your dongle. The size is irrelevant. You plug in your well-endowed dongle into the arcade machine. and you can play the game.
TechWiz, are you here?
I know that must be TechWiz rubbing off on me. He's such a dirty guy. All right, so you know, I'm just kidding. Love you, TechWiz. So you plug that in, and you can play the games, and it maps the controls. Well, a lot of people were underwhelmed by those systems, but I'm not going to go there. All right, so that's that, and then it says non-AtGames HDMI devices. That could be literally everything. That could be an Xbox One. That could be an Xbox 360. That could be a Nintendo Wii. That could be anything that...
But how cool would that be if you could?
Okay, but
that would
hold
be
on.
awesome.
Hold on, let's get the details here. Non-AtGames HDMI devices can use their existing controls and make use of the Legends Ultimate high-resolution display. But it says can use their existing controls. So that to me reads, I can plug an Xbox One in it so I can display it as a display. You're not using it to map controls. So that's just the inputs on a monitor, right? And I'm not really going to beat them up for that. That's actually kind of cool that they'll allow you to do it. Mapping the controls would actually be pretty difficult. I've done it with the X Arcade stuff. That would probably up the cost quite a bit if they were mapping the controls from like another console. So I'll give them that. That's fine. I don't really like... It's not a negative or a positive. Well, it is a positive because you can use the display for other stuff, I guess. I would say that, right? I mean, that's a positive. Sorry, guys. If I keep looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes here, and I can't really like do this because then it looks like you're just looking at the piece of paper. So... Anyways, anything else that you guys think? Chris, any comments on that? Or because I just want to see if we can go back to the chat one last time, and then we can wrap it up probably.
That's fine. I just want to say that I think that like I said, I would like to see a good competitor to Arcade 1-Up. I would like to see it's competitive in price. I'd like to see it competitive in play. I have 6 friends here who each have an Arcade 1-Up or one or more, and not a single one of them, after reading what AtGames had, was interested in this. And and only for the fact that just kind of the direction they've taken it. I think they can turn that around, though. I really do. But that's something that they're going to have to do for themselves.
We got some... Whoa, hold on. We got some late breaking news. Ralph, will AtGames have a 3.25 and 3.5 and 5.25 inch floppy drive on the cabinet?
Play DOSBox games.
I think they're going to have a Jazz drive, actually. Yeah, they're going to have an iOmega Jazz drive. What was the other one? There was iOmega Jazz, and what was the other one? Zip drives?
Zip.
Yeah, it's going to have zip drives and Jazz drives coming to an AtGames near you. So there was one thing I wanted to say. So here's like, if let's play some pretend or some let's play a game really quick. If AtGames decides to not do any of this or hear any of the feedback that we've given, and they decide to roll it out as is, what I think will happen is this is a huge, if they're not working on it already, this is a huge opportunity for Arcade 1-Up to think about an online gaming service and make it really appealing. And maybe they sell a system that's different from the other ones that's branded as like more of a multicade, because obviously you can't bring... It'd be really hard for them to bring that capability into the existing sold systems because they're PCBs that are fixed. They're just hardwired to do. They're closed solutions for all intents and purposes. There's no inputs into them. So if they decided like maybe this is something they want to do, this could open up them to kind of take this idea and run with it and make it even better for their audience. So I don't think I'd let them have that opening if I'm AtGames. If you're close enough and you have the development work done, these couple of changes on pricing, that's easy, right? Hey, we're going to reprice it. But I mean, they're making a good amount of money on, and I don't know how much profit is in that $600. But let's say they make a decent amount of profit on the machine. And we all know, like, consoles, you know, like Xbox One and PlayStation 4, like those companies, Sony and Microsoft, don't make a killing on the consoles. They usually actually don't make much money at all on the consoles. I would think with this, they probably make a decent profit. I don't think this is in the same realm as that, because it's like a mass-produced China brand PCB that just has some software on it. So I don't really think they're in that same boat. They probably do make profit on the unit. And I could be wrong, but I think they would probably make some profit on the unit. So you've got that, and then you've got your added service cost. If you can go from $20 to $10, I think that's reasonable. And if the bring your own game is part of that, I think you've got a little bit better of a system that people will be a little bit more interested in my opinion, based on all of our feedback we've given here, and then the people in the chat, because everyone in the chat's been like really active, which I really appreciate. Yeah, I got a comment right now, it just came in. I have no idea how to say your last name, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's K. Guajardo, I think. It says pay per hour is really going to kill this thing right out of the door. I agree. I think you have a flat
100%.
fee, you'll be okay. The other comment, Chris, is, in all seriousness, competition will make one up better. I'm interested in the AtGames machine, but the cabinet is very ugly, and the pay per hour is a huge turnoff. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the biggest killer. It really is. Like, as soon as I was talking to my friend Brian, I was like that pay per hour is the death. That's the nail in the coffin for this. I just think that's just not the way to go. I don't know whose idea that was. That's just not. That's just a huge turnoff. I don't know.
Okay, we got pay per hour is stupid and monthly is needed, like a good in my head. Maybe you meant hole in my head. And then someone just said and beer. Like it should come with beer. I mean, let's elaborate on the and beer. It's just and beer.
Why not? Yes, it needs to come with Tapper. Absolutely needs to come with Tapper.
Hold on. Ralph, read my 3 comments out loud. Okay, hold on. Patrick, let's see what Patrick had to say. Can I even say these out loud is a question. Okay, you said the floppy drive. I already said that. LOL Jazzin. Don't know what that means.
Jazz drive.
In all seriousness, competition, you said that. I did read all 3 of yours out loud. Ralph, read 3 of my comments. Okay. I don't know. I read them all. No,
No, and I do agree that competition with Arcade 1-Up will make Arcade 1-Up better. It just needs to be realistic competition. AtGames can bring something new to the table than Arcade 1-Up could try and up that and things like that. But the pay per hour thing, no one's going to compete with that because that's not a good idea. Like I said, the being able to download certain games is a great idea.
Oh, I'm an idiot. He's saying Ralph read 3 of my comments out loud. Whoa! Who's the smart guy now, baby? Whoa!
There you go.
That is awesome. If we ended on that note, dang. Wow. I'm glad you guys don't pay $10 an hour for this shit. But anyways, I am special.
No more stools.
This stuff makes me laugh because I'm sitting there like I'm going back and reading his comments again. I read them already. Fine, I'll read them again. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. And then someone put Ralph can't read. I'm like RED. Oh my gosh, I'm losing track. Okay, well, hopefully what this did is just brought to their attention that. Oh, by the way, there was one thing before I summarize. Someone said, "Quick thoughts on the comment the cabs announced for Japan." Well, I guess the arcade, switching gears to Arcade 1-Up for a minute. I guess, dude, what the heck? The SNK thing's like fake news. Like that's actually not real, right? Like that's not happening. I guess.
I think they said that just wasn't ready to be shown.
Like it was like they don't have the licensing ready or something. Whoops. So Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. Oh man, my sound effects aren't working. That's a bummer. Oh man, I was going to tee up some sound effects for you. All right, the last comment that we will read is by Bones McCoy. This release is doomed. Games are far from legendary. Paper hour is silly, and anyone who doesn't want to build their own cab or mod an existing one will not want this because the library isn't worth it.
Yep.
Wow. All right, we'll read. I love reading these. This is fun. I feel like I have a radio show or something.
Need to take phone calls.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Actually, I would. We should take. I would never. For 1 second when you said take phone calls, I was gonna just like blurt out my cell phone number, but that would be terrible thing to do on this. All right, then but we should maybe set up a Google Voice number or something. That'd be kind of fun. All right,
that would be cool.
It has potential, but between the lack of transparency, the fees, and the more filler, less killer is really going to kill the market on this AtGames cab. I'll buy the AtGames cab when it's on clearance, then wait for it to be hacked. I love that you guys are so honest. And someone else just backed up that comment. Tapper's Reviews says, sounds like a plan. So it seems like everyone's into the whole let's wait till it goes on liquidation clearance and get hacked, and then I'll buy it. Wait. It's already hackable. Oops, didn't just say that. Oh, someone knows something. Someone knows something. Cursed existence, you know something. You holding out? All right, so guys, last piece of information I need, or last feedback I need from you guys. Do I publish this and leave it alone and not edit it? Because if I do that, that whole debacle in the beginning will actually be on the live stream, and none of these comments will be saved. I
like the comments.
I do too, but if I post this, no one's going to watch it because they're going to get to the first minute and go, oh my gosh, it's echoing, I'm out. Maybe they'll stay. I don't know. All right, well, I guess I'll leave it, I think. So everyone says save. Ravenwood says save everything. Ravenwood, are you a subscriber of the channel? I'm just curious. I didn't know. I haven't seen the name before or seen you comment, but you're very active in here, so I appreciate that. Actually, you guys have all been really active. I like it.
Is there any way to do both? Post both?
No.
One web edit?
Yeah, but I'd have to I could download it and then just publish it one without the mess up, I guess. I don't know. But publishing the same video twice might not be good on YouTube.
Weird.
YouTube's weird. The algorithm's weird. It'll probably kick me in the balls virtually if I do that. So anyways, but this is a family show, so I didn't say that. All right, leave the comments. Just title it with a timestamp to skip to the correct time. Yes.
That's great.
Richard Cook, idea. You are way smarter than me. Hold on.
Let
me read these 3 comments again because I didn't read them. All right. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna do the play out music really quick. Well, Ravenwood, thank you for subscribing and all that, and everyone else who's here. It's awesome. I'm gonna see if I can get the. All right. I'm going to play the music out. Chris, thank you for joining. This was exciting. I appreciate everyone joining.
Weekend.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone joining and being active in this conversation. To me, this is our opportunity to take a product that we're maybe not happy with the initial thoughts of, and maybe they'll change it, right? Maybe they'll listen to our feedback. And I think if they watch this, they may really want to take that step because it's unanimous almost. So I would hate to see them release to something that potentially isn't a product that we're all going to enjoy. So that's it. We will see you on the next one. Chris and I love this. This was a little bit of an ad hoc fun thing.
See you guys.
You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. I'm going to kill the stream. We'll see you on the next one.